Getting those first vine-ripe tomatoes of the summer never seems to come fast enough. But in this video, I'm going to show you steps that you can do that are important along the way to make sure they get there. No doubt the goal of every tomato growing gardener is to get to that first vine-ripe tomato. But there are a few things that we can do along the way to make sure that they get there. And so here these tomatoes are. They're about 3 to 4 weeks in the ground and they're looking great. And one of the observations I have right now on this one, it's nice and stocky. The foliage is of great color, it's good size. This plant is leaning just slightly towards this good sturdy tomato support, and that is important. You got to figure out what you're going to do to support that tomato as it grows. And obviously I've got my tomato cages here, but because it's leaning a little bit and I tend to like my tomatoes to be more upright and centered, I can have a quick fix there with a small piece of bamboo. These are 2-foot sections that you can buy in bulk online. They're very inexpensive and I like to keep these on hand. And it's just simply a matter of inserting it right there at the base of the plant, and you're not going to hurt the roots when you do this. And then just attaching it, I like to use this Velcro tape and just cut a strip and then attach the plant and the bamboo with one piece of tape, and that's it. Just don't do it too tight. You don't want to inhibit the circulation or the growth of the seedling when you attach this tape. And you just need a little contact. And there you go, that's a quick fix. As I look at this plant also, I'm seeing the tomato suckers that are emerging between the main stem and the branch. And you've got an option to either remove this or leave it in place. And you know, at the end of the day, it all comes out to about the same. If you leave it in place, this is going to branch out and it will form flower clusters and therefore more tomatoes. The downside is if you let all those suckers grow out, and there will be a lot of them, it fills up the growing space, and it's nice to have light and air circulation into this plant. So what I do is kind of split the difference, and I will remove some of the suckers and leave some, just removing enough so that I have sufficient light and air circulation in here, but I do like to have a nice full tomato plant with lots of tomatoes. But for those tomato suckers that I remove, it's easy to just snap them off like that right there. It'll break away, see that? And then I'll plant this. This can become a clone of the parent plant. Again, it's my favorite variety, Black Creme, but stick this into a container of moist soil, keep it out of the direct sun for a couple weeks. This will form roots and become a brand new plant. So you can have lots more to come. Okay, the next thing I want to look at is the irrigation. Now, when I put these plants into the ground, I set up drip irrigation, and I think that that's a great way to irrigate any plant in your garden. Drip irrigation is good because it releases water slowly right where it's needed at the soil level, and it's not coming out so fast that the roots don't have a chance to take it up. And it's coming out slowly enough so it's not splashing back up onto the foliage where you run a chance of additional plant diseases. So this is kind of the perfect way to water. So I check this though periodically once I set it up, because the emitters, the small little openings in this hose that allow the water to come out, potentially that could clog, and you want to make sure that they continue to put out the water. And then you'll notice that I use a lot of mulch. I love shredded leaf mulch, but whatever kind of mulch you use, as long as it's natural mulch and it breaks down to improve the soil, that's always important. And I just like the shredded leaf mulch. So that all looks good. One of the other things that I do is ensure fertility to the soil. I use a lot of compost. That's my primary source of building the soil and the nutrients, but I like to supplement that as well. So as I prepare my beds and put my plants in, I like to use an organically derived source of nitrogen fertilizer initially. I can do that with a granular product such as Milorganite. A half a cup around each plant is perfect. And I still need to do that in this bed, so I'll do that with these plants. Alternatively, you could come in with maybe a soluble fertilizer like a liquid fish emulsion that provides nitrogen, and you could do that every 10 days or so to keep up that fertility, give it a little extra boost along the way. But so far, I'm very happy with how these plants look. Everything is checking out nicely, but I'll continue to check back on these all the way through harvest to see how long I can keep that harvest going. Let me add some fertilizer though. So just a half a cup around the base, and then I'll scratch this in just like that. The moisture will work that fertilizer down right to the roots. The roots at this stage haven't gone too deep, so this is going to be just fine. If you did this prior to putting your plants in place, you could mix the fertilizer into the top 6 inches or so of the soil, but either way, that fertilizer is going to get to those roots.